time, and it's not going to help us for the next class. From third class, the plan is little different, so I'm going to tell you a little later. Okay, and that's a happy news for all of you, of course. Okay, if you have questions, you can stop me anytime because this is our first class, and I want all of you to know the exact plan of this semester. All right. Okay, let's get started. Now, first thing, you need to know what are the things that is there on Blackboard. So that is the course. 2413211 is your course. Now, I have created lab submissions, syllabus, course content. So these three are the things that I want to let you know first. So syllabus, I hope all of you have read the syllabus. So let's see what it is there. Okay, so here is your class meeting time, my name, my office hours. This office hours might change. I'll let you know when it's going to change. And if you want to know, if you want to have a one-on-one WebEx meeting, you are absolutely free to welcome. Okay. I don't want to just let you know about all this. Just kindly go through this. Make sure that you read everything. Submitting the work. Yes, this is important. Now, there is 1 week that you have turn in your assignment. For example, if your class begins at 2 o'clock today, that's Tuesday, you have to turn in your assignment next week 2 o'clock before 2 p.m. Okay. And late works, remember, late works are not accepted unless there is a valid excuse. Of course, that's an exceptional case. So make sure that you turn in your assignment because you have 7 days and you have a lot of time to do it because this course is not that hard. Missed labs, yes, if you have a valid excuse, we will find something to cover it up. And these are university policies, so make some time to go over all this. So this is the plan. We had no class on the first week of June. This week we will be going over calculus of calculations and functions with limits. So today's class will be about calculations. It's completely basic and everything is set up, so try to stick on to this. From next class it is finding tangent lines, and I mean this is the plan for the rest of the semester. Okay, and the most important thing is you have to save all your assignment works in a pen drive or a USB drive or an email so that you don't lose them. Because I had a student last semester who had not turned in their assignment and was claiming that the student turned in. And when I asked for the work, I mean, he had no work on his pen drive or email. So save all your work. That is what I want to see. Okay, and yeah, that's what we have so far. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now. Of course, I'm going to post the video, recorded video. So I hope all of you can see the screen. That's the syllabus. Okay, this is what I was talking to you a few seconds earlier. Okay, now let's get on to the next thing. Sub syllabus is fine. Lab submissions. So go to lab submissions, click on that. You can browse your computer where the file is saved and you can submit it. That's one thing. Next step is course content. Now, if I want to post something which is really important, I would be posting right there. Course content. So I've posted this few minutes ago. This is about calculus 1 basics command. It's a basic commands. Okay, you must know this. If you don't know this, I mean, this lab is going to be very hard because this is completely basic and it helps you a lot. Okay, we will come to this part a little later. Okay, there is something called discussion forum right there, and I've created that. If you have any questions, you can go right there and post it. Create a thread. You can have a subject there. Type your question there, and you can submit it. Okay. what I mean is, go to discussion forum, go to your class. That's class one. Okay. If you have questions on lab one, this is where you come. Create a thread, create a subject, then post your question there, and then submit it. Okay. And I really appreciate if any one of you answer that. If you know it, you don't have to wait for me in particular to answer those questions. You can answer among yourself if you know. I mean, it's like a blog. Okay. I hope all of you can see the screen. Can someone of you respond if you can see this screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Ah, good. Thank you. Thank you for responding. Okay. That is what the four things that is what I wanted to show. Now, where do you find lab manual? Okay. So you have to Google it. Say MathWeb. Simply Google MathWeb. You don't have to worry if you lose somewhere because I'm gonna post the video and you can let me know if I'm too fast. Okay. So MathWeb, go to the first website, then find for Calculus 1 Labs. There you go, Calculus 1 Labs. Click on that. So today's lab is MATLAB Lab 1 calculations. So click on that. And then Lab 1 calculations. So today's lab is all about this. Okay. Am I too fast? Please let me know. Okay. Okay. So that is what the introduction stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have very well understood, we can get started. Okay. Okay. Before this, there's one important thing. Now, today's lecture and Thursday's lecture would be on WebEx. And from next week, I will try to record the videos of labs and a MATLAB code, which and MATLAB code will have all the instructions that you need to solve assignments and everything. So try to watch the video and then you can attend the class, the live session that I hold that is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Watch the video, attend. If you have questions, you are free to attend the live sessions that is happening on every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. That's your regular class hours. Because I mean, I think that helps you guys because if someone of you misses the lab, you can watch the video and also look at the MATLAB code. If you have questions, of course, you're free to come to the live sessions. Okay, so that's the plan. So this week it will be a WebEx meeting. You guys have to attend if you I mean that of course you have to attend the first two classes. And from next week I will post the videos, the pre-recorded videos. Watch them before you attend, and then if you can attend if you have questions or if you want if you want explanation again. Okay, is that clear? Is that clear? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, I hope all of you can see the screen. Okay, so we, sorry, we will be doing MATLAB. So let's go to MATLAB first. Again, this is really basics. So try to understand this class. So that is MATLAB. Okay, let me pull out the lab manual. Okay, let's pull out this lab manual. Okay, I think that's okay. Yeah. Okay. So when you open MATLAB, you need to know three things. One is script. The other one is live script. So most of the class, 80 to 85% of this course is all done in live script. Okay, And why is it live script and why is it script? I'll let you know. So live script, if you click on live script, you will see two screens, two separate screens. One is on this side, the other one is on this side. So this is what you add things, you input things. Let's say 1 plus 1, I mean 1 plus 2. Okay. So you need to know what is 1 plus 2. So if you run here, your answer is going to be printed on the right hand of the screen and the right hand of the window. So that is the output screen. Okay. So the advantage of live script is you can see answers for every line that you write. Okay, that's the advantage. Now what's the advantage of a script? You will know in the next class. Okay. So that is script. That's a live script. Okay. Then how do you save it? So simply click on that and then save it. Say lab 1, like that. Save it. That's the way you save a live script file. Okay, you can save this as lab 1. That's fine. That's up to you. Then when you turn in your assignment, you have to click right there again, save, and you have to choose export to PDF. So this guy is going to print the entire code that you have done into a PDF file, and you can submit that PDF file to the lab submissions. Okay. So to submit an assignment, it has to be a PDF file. I'll let you know when you need to submit your submit.mlx file. But so far, and I mean until I say, kindly submit PDF file. So to submit a PDF file, click on save and then on export to PDF. So that's the second thing. Okay, first thing is to open .mlx file, that is live script. Live script is called .mlx. Okay, you can see the difference. .mlx. If you want to know what a script file is, script, that would be .m. And if you can save this and see, okay, that would be .m. If I ask you to open a live script, it has to be .mlx. Okay, then you know how to save this and then export to PDF to submit an assignment. Okay, that's the second thing. Third thing is there are two things on the third part. One is the text, the other one is code. Okay, now if you want to write something on the input screen, okay, there are plenty of things that you'll be doing on the input screen, but you don't have to you don't want MATLAB to consider that what you type as an input. Let's say you want to type your name. Okay, let's say you want to type your name. Let me say ABCD. Okay, this makes no sense now because this is just a comment. You can type whatever you want. Okay, if you go back, shift back to code, you can do all your mathematical things there. Let's say 5 times 6. 5 times 6. Oh, oops. You have to go back to code. 5 times 6. Now if you run it, you can see the difference. That line 1 has that answer, line 2 has that answer. Now this guy is not considered because that's just a comment and you don't want that thing to be considered. So why do we use this? Is because if you want to know, if you want to say something, multiplication, just a comment. So whatever you do hereafter is multiplication, simply like that, just a comment. Okay, so that's the final thing that you need to know. One is how to open a file, save a file, then how to convert that to PDF and then submit it. Third one is to know the difference between text and code. So if you want to do all mathematical things, you shift back to code. If you want to write something, you go back to text. Okay. Was I too fast? Okay, maybe I need to read. Uh, oops. Oh, where was I? Okay. Let me see the comments. You can unmute yourself, like if you want to say something. Yeah, thank you. Okay, this is my research. I don't want you guys to look at that. Okay, let's see. Oops, why do I put my research again all the time? Okay, now let's see what we can do. Before we actually begin, we need, as I told you, I've already posted your MATLAB commands. This is what it is. Now you have to know all of this. Now let you, if you want to find an absolute value. Now what is an absolute value of a number? So absolute value of a number is always positive. So if you want to find an absolute value of a number, you have to type ABS parenthesis within a parenthesis a number. If you want to know absolute value of negative 2, let's do it here. Let's do it here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Let's say if you want to find absolute value of negative 2. See that? That's the way you type. ABS and the parenthesis. And type a number, whatever you want to find an absolute value of within the parenthesis. And run it. That's 2. So absolute value of a negative number is positive. Absolute value of a positive number is again positive. Now, what is a square root? Now, what is square root of 9? You can unmute yourself if you want to answer. The square root of 9. Yes, good. It's 3. So square root of 9 is 3. Now, if you want to know, that is easy. So if you want to know 256, it's of course easy. So if you want to know a bigger number, square root of a bigger number, MATLAB is going to be very useful. So to find a square root of a number, you should have to use this command, sqrt parenthesis and the number.
Excuse me.
Click run.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you
go
do
ahead.
to like get the answer, the outputs? Do you like press enter or what do you click to get the outputs?
Let's say this enter. If you want to go to the next line, you have to press enter. Was that your question?
Outputs like to get the
Oh,
answer.
okay. That is run. You have to run. You see that? If you want to print the output, you have to click run. You see run here?
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Is there any questions?
Not really. I'm good now. Thanks.
Okay, good. Okay. So now, next thing is to know how to use logarithmic functions. Let's say log 2. You must have parentheses, okay? Log 2 is 0.6931. Okay. There are few things. Yeah, let's do some trigonometry. Sine 30. Let's say sine 30. Click run. Sine 30 is negative 0.9980. Okay. Then let's do some exponential exp parentheses. Let's say 3. That's 20.0855. Now what is this guy? So if you want to make a comment, instead of using text, you can also use percentile symbol. So whatever you write after the percentile symbol, it's considered as a comment. So exp is actually e. So if you see a question saying e to the 2, it is not e to the 2. It is called exponential of 2. So if you see something like this, you have to say exp and 2 within the parenthesis. Okay, let me put that. Okay, now to find some powers, let's say 2 cube. 2 cube is 8. We already know that. So if you want to find the powers, you have to click on shift and then on 6 to have that symbol. That symbol 2q, like that. You have to click on shift and 6 to get that symbol. That's 2q. So 2 cube is 8. So let's see if we have the same answer. Yes, it is 8. Okay. Then the next command is VPA of x comma 10. Okay. Why do we use this? Let's say you want to know the value of pi. That's one thing that I want to add. I'll add that. So pi is 3.1415956, and it goes on and on and on. Let's see if we have that. Okay, here it is fine. Now, if you want to have pi of say 9 digits, yes, you heard me right. If you want to have the value of pi up to 9 digits in decimals, 9 significant digits, in fact, you will have 9 digits. See, if count them down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So VPA and a parenthesis, and within the parenthesis you have to specify what value are you looking for and how many significant digits you are looking for after a comma. So that is pi, and you are looking for a pi up to 9 significant digits. So to do that, you have to use VPA command. Okay, question?
Yeah, so would that work for like doing like using anything else? For example, like like your sine 30, for example. Like, would you put your where your pi is in that line? Would you put like your sine 30 there, and that will give you the significant digits you need? That and
Yes, that's a very good question. Now let's see. Let's take 3 divided by 6. Okay, let's say a is equal to 3 divided by 6. No, let's not do 6 because let's say 7. Okay, let's say a is equal to 3 divided by 7. If I run it, of course 3 divided by 7 is not a, I mean we have a lot of decimal places, right? Now I want just two decimal places, and I have 0.4286. Now I don't want 0.4286 to get all itself. Like I just want these three. Let's say I just want 0.42. So what I do is VPA. I'm looking for a up to three significant digits. Okay, that means I'm looking for an a up to three significant digits. That is 0.42. I don't want 0.86. See that? I have three significant digits, 0.429. That means I'm trying to rounding this off. You can even select two. See that? You can use for any kind of function for any number. If you want to cut short that huge number to some small number or some small number to a huge number using VPA command. Does that answer your question?
yes.
Okay. Any more questions? If you don't get it, feel free to ask me again. Okay?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, are you gonna post these notes on
Yes.
Blackboard? Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes. The video and the MATLAB code will be posted. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Next step is to define a symbolic variable. Now, all this time we were dealing with numbers and the built-in commands. That's absolutely fine. But we come across equations. Equations say x squared plus x times 2, something like that. We come across equations in terms of variables. I just don't want to put those numbers to those variables. I want to have those variables as the variables itself. Okay. So in order to have those variables defined on MATLAB, you have to use SYMSX. When you use this command, you are telling MATLAB that I am going to use X and it has some value to it. Right? So 5, 6, 1, 2, everything is fine. MATLAB knows already, but MATLAB doesn't know what is X. And this guy SYMSX is going to tell MATLAB that that X is a variable that I'm going to use for the rest of my command. Okay, that is the way you define a symbolic variable. Okay, before we go to this, I just want to introduce a new one that's called section break. Do you see section break here? So go there and click it. So this allows to break one part of the code with another part. The reason is, you will know in your next class why we break sections. So go and break this section. Okay. All right. Now, let's say you want to expand a function. Let's say I have f as a function. Let me define x as a parenthesis x plus 1 times x minus 1. And there is one important thing. Please don't mess up with parentheses. If you have a parenthesis, kindly make sure that you also have a closing parenthesis. So I've opened it there and I'm closing it there. And remember, MATLAB always follows PEDMAS rule: parenthesis, exponential, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Now it's very easy to make a mistake. I will give you an example. Okay, let's say 2 squared plus 3. Now let's take divided by 3. Okay, let's run it. That's 1.33. Now there is one more thing. 2 to the power with the parenthesis. Then it's a huge difference. Do you see that? So what I'm trying to do here in the first line is I'm taking the square of 2. That means I am taking 2 square first, and then I'm dividing the entire 2 square with 3. But on the next line, you see, I am taking 2 to the power 2 over 3, which is different. So that is a power of 2. 2 to the power 2 over 3 is different than 2 to the 2 divided by 3. So make sure that you have to use parentheses at the right place, and also close the parenthesis, because you will see error if you don't do it. I'll also show you that. If you don't close the parenthesis, see that? Invalid expression. When calling a function or indexing the variable, use parenthesis. So it's asking you to use parenthesis. That means you're either missing a parenthesis or you're using too much parenthesis. Okay, that's one. And there's one more. Let's say 5, 1 plus 2. PEDMAS rule, right? So it's first parenthesis. So this guy is again a mistake. You will see an error because you have to define the operator right there. Is it addition, or multiplication, subtraction, division, or whatever it is? You cannot simply leave it like that. 5 plus, so let's say 5 times. That makes sense, right? You cannot leave a parenthesis opened without defining an operator. When I mean operator, it means the operations like division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction, or exponents. Okay, so make sure that you use the operator in between a number and a parenthesis. Now, do you see something strange here? I said to use an operator between a number and a parenthesis, but I did not use any operators there, but still I have an answer. That is because these are all the built-in commands, and these are the MATLAB already knows. If you use sine and a parenthesis, say 20 or 30 or 10, whatever it is, MATLAB already knows that you are dealing something with trigonometry. Right there, see that? So MATLAB knows that is trigonometry, so you don't have to tell MATLAB that this is what you want to do. And never make a mistake, say sine times 30. Don't do this. Sine times 30 is absolutely wrong because that doesn't make an trigonometric function. So you must have sine 30 like that. Okay? Only when you define a numbers or a variable, and if you think MATLAB has to know, then you need to assign an operator. And about the built-in commands I have right there, you don't have to define any operators within, outside a parenthesis. Okay, that has to be very much understood. Now let's say I have a function like that, say x plus 1 times x minus 1. Remember, this is different, this is separate and that is separate. That is x plus 1 is separate and x minus 1 is separate. Now, if you want to expand, when I say expand, you are multiplying, right? I think you must have learned this in your theory class. So to expand a function, remember I am telling you expanding a function and not a number. Okay, of course you cannot expand a number. Expand, that's the command you choose. Expand f. So if you run it, that is the expansion of that function. Okay, now to factor out, of course I have x square minus 1. Now let's say g is expand f. Now why am I saying g is equal to that and f is equal to that? Because it's easy to use them inside a parenthesis. Of course you can do it like that also, expand and parenthesis this function. If you want to expand that function, of course you can do this. But the reason is you will have plenty of parentheses and you will try to confuse yourself, that it doesn't help. So that's why I just define the function as f or g or h, or you have 26 alphabets, choose whatever you want. Okay, and if you can use it there, and that's going to be really simple. Okay, let's say g is the expansion of f. Now if you want to factor g, you just have to say FACTOR g. Again, you have to get back your original f. And do not worry if you don't have a parenthesis there, because you have a huge gap in between x minus 1 and x plus 1. So that is simply x minus 1 times x plus 1. So that's the way you factor a function. Okay. Now let's say if you want to generate a random number, you have to choose rand, simply parenthesis. Now this command is going to generate a random number between 0 and 1. It can be 0.2, 0.3, 0.456, 0.577, something, anything. So every time you run this, you will see a new number because it's completely random. You're generating a random number each and every time. See that? Every time you run it, it is always between 0 and 1. And it's completely random. So you'll have a new number every time you run. Okay? And RNG is to set the seed. Let's say RNG 2015, something like this. That's fine. Any number is fine. So that's, you're setting a seed. You will come across this equation in your assignment. So if you pull up your lab manual, you will see a detailed explanation given right there. So when you set a seed, let's say 0509, you have to use exactly like that. So kindly read this, okay? Read this and just understand. All right? Okay, what else we have? Okay, solving an equation. Now, how do you solve an equation? Now, when I have equation x squared minus 1, and if I ask you to solve an equation for x, that means you're trying to find the roots of a function. That means when you plug some number to this x, you should have a 0. I mean, this completely should go away. Now let's simply guess the number using let's not guess the number, let's solve the equation. Solve, let's say f equal to 0, because you want a number for x that makes it 0. That is why I'm just equating 0. Let's say if you want a number x square minus 1 that is equal to 1, that means you want a function for which you need an x value that makes the entire function to some value. Then you can change this number. Solve f equal to 0 and with a comma and say x, because you are solving for x. Run it, you should see two answers, that's -1 and +1. So just simply plug in. Let's plug in -1 right there. -1 square is +1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Now let's plug 1. 1 square is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So which is true. So that those are the roots for the equation that I gave you. X plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay. Now VPA solve again. When you're using VPA, your fractions are converted to decimals, and you can always choose the number of significant digits that you want at the end using VPA of the number and the number of significant digits that you want. Okay, so these are the basic commands that you'll have to see on the first lab. So yeah, so that is the way you solve equations. So yeah, okay, that's one more thing. Now you can always assign a value to the function. Let's say f of, okay, let's say x is equal to 2, and you have h is equal to x plus 6. What happens here is let's break this section first. Let's say your x is equal to 2 and your h is equal to x plus 6. So what happens here is your equation for h will have x is equal to 2. So simply run and say, you will see 8 on the output screen. So you have defined the value for x as 2. So the equation for h will take x is equal to 2 plus 6. See that? If you just move your cursor right there, your x is equal to 2 because you've already defined there.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you go back up to the previous section where you broke, so whenever you put in a break, is that basically like in the next section you can use another, like say you use G in that previous section, in that next section you can use G again?
Yes, that's a really good question. Okay, that's very important. Now, why do I break the section? Is the reason is you can use them again and again. That's one thing. Next thing is, if you say x is equal to 2 right 2 there, let's say your x is equal to 2 right there, okay, and you want x is equal to 3 on the next code. And if you have two things on the same, let's say two x's on the same code, you're confusing MATLAB. See that? You cannot have x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 3 together. So that's the reason I break the section, so that I can use x is equal to 3 in a newly way. And the reason for this is, again, you cannot define x as a symbolic variable and then again assign a value to it. You can either define a variable or you can assign a value to it. You cannot have symbolic variables defined and assigned a value to it. It's a y is equal to 2. Now the problem is solved. See that? If you want to define a variable, you don't have to use this code, this line. See that? That's fine. And the reason here is you're solving for it, and x is equal to 2 doesn't make sense. So make sure that you understand this. So when I use percentile, you're absolutely commenting that out. So you're not using that line in your MATLAB code. Okay? Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. If you have no questions, that's fine. Now, how does the assignment should look like? So assignment should have all the class activity that is done on the lab manual. So you must have all of these. And you may not have to do comprehensive checks, but you have to do all the class activity there. You have to show all the expressions. Of course, you have the answers, so try to check them with the same thing, and you don't have to do comprehensive checks. So do the class activity and then the assignment, because both of them weigh the same. It's 50% and 50%. So putting it all together is your actual uh, assignment. So read the question, and it's good to go. Like, if you have done all these things correctly, this won't be that hard. So this is just a word. So you have to fetch the data out of all this line of these assignment questions. So fetch the data, use the formulas and the basic codes that I showed you, and that solves all the problems that you have. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So each week we have two labs that we're gonna have to turn in, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's so lab 1 is due next Tuesday, lab 2 will be due next Thursday. And make sure that you are using discussion forum. If you see an error in your code, you are free to email me that code. I will figure out the error, and I'll make a comment, and you can make a correction in your code. Okay?
Sorry, do we have like lab exams, lab finals?
No.
Okay,
So last lab would be a kind of a test. I'll let you know about that. I have not decided about that yet.
thank you.
Yeah, last lab would be a kind of a test. So class activity weighs 50% and lab assignment would weigh 50%. So make sure that you have all of them, and that solves the problem. Any more questions? Oh, oops, I stopped sharing.